You're signed the #1 recruit today. Just your reaction about Kristen Williams coming here, and when she says, you know, she can achieve her goals here. Is that the kind of player you look for? Was she easy to recruit in a way?
Well, I mean, she was easy to identify in terms of you know, talent-wise and who can do certain things. At a really, really high level. So when you watched her play against her peers in her age group, you know, it was pretty evident that she was significantly better than a lot of the kids in her age group, and she's driven to succeed at the highest levels. You know, she wants to challenge herself, and so from that aspect, you know, she wanted the same things that we have, and we wanted her to be a part of this, and you know, there was a connection between her and our staff and our program from the beginning, from when we first started recruiting her. And you know, obviously today was, you know, her announcement, and we're pretty thrilled about it. You know, it's exciting anytime you get a player with that kind of potential.
You said it was easy to identify the things she did better than others.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of things does she do really well?
You know, things that you would think good guards do. I mean, like most guards today, you know, they score. And basically her reputation is as she's a scorer. And she's a bigger guard, and she's very physical, and she's terrific with the ball, and she plays, you know, she plays with a certain intensity level that's rare among kids that age, you know, and so I'm anxious to see, you know, where she can go with this, because she's got a pretty high level, you know, and a pretty high ceiling.
People have coached her talk about she's the first one in the gym, and she really puts a lot into it. Is that something that you really appreciate about her?
Yeah, she works really hard. She competes really hard. And when she plays, it's the same way. She plays really hard. She doesn't just go in there and, you know, walk up and down the floor. When she's playing, she's really playing. And it's easy to say that about high school kids, you know. We all talk about high school kids like they're going to be great, you know. But she's got a tremendous inner drive that, again, you don't see very often. You know, I think that's one of the things that attracted us to her, and what attracted her to here, to Connecticut.
November 10th was pretty good for you, and Megan Walker last year on this day committed. And
was it this day?
And now you get to the
Yeah, I know. We've been very fortunate lately, you know, between you know, Lou, Crystal, Megan, and now Kristen. It's not bad, you know, not bad recruiting. And there aren't a whole lot of them out there, believe me. We know who they are, and there are not a whole lot of them out there. So hopefully it'll turn out exactly the way she wants it to.
Charlie Collier was very complimentary of how you handled that. Can you address what's that like?
There's really not much to say on that one. You know, I guess it's just a weird scenario, you know. Kid commits to school in 8th grade. For whatever reason, decides I don't want to commit. I don't want to go there. I want to go here. And then decides I don't want to go there. I want to go where I originally thought I wanted to go. So I really didn't spend a lot of time thinking about it. When she called, it was, okay, I understand. Bye. I mean, what are you going to do?
Did you go down to Arkansas to recruit?
Oh, man, I'm telling you.
I figured that would be interesting.
You know, it's funny. It was after one of our games last year, and I flew down. I forget where I was. I stayed behind, and the team came home, and I flew to Arkansas and landed in Little Rock, and you drove. You know, one time I went to go watch her play in her town in Little Rock. Another time I drove to an away game about an hour and a half maybe from Little Rock. And I got to tell you, as I was driving through, I said to myself, man, this is a different America than I think the East Coast, West Coast people. They don't know this part of America, and there's a lot more of them than there are of us. There's an awful lot of people living in Middle America and places like Arkansas that you just kind of shake your head, nod your head, I should say, and go, yeah, I think we've, that's the way, you know, drive down the street and all the lampposts are there and they're all decorated, and, you know, you walk into a coffee shop and, you know, walk into a store and it's, and I got to fly home, so I got a private plane, you know, picking me up, and you got to go to the airport, kind of near there, a small airport, and you go, and guys, I guess, decided, like, I'm not waiting around any longer, so you go there, the pilots are showing up, I'm there, but there's nobody else there. So there's nobody to fill the tank up, and there's nobody to say, hey, there's nobody working at in the terminal. And you just realize it's a different way of life, man. It's a different way of life. It was kind of fascinating. It really, really was. It's old-time America, man. And when you talk to her, she sounds just like it. I don't think I've ever seen a kid anywhere that I've recruited. Who's got more kids from California than we do, or from all over the country? I never had a kid when I say, okay, I'll talk to you tomorrow, and they go, okie dokie. Who says that? I remember the first time she said that, I go, who says that? Okie dokie. Okay. There you go.
You gotta love her just for that saying that, don't you?
I'm telling you, okie dokie. It became kind of like, you know, yeah. That was mine. Just okie dokie.
Just as long as she doesn't go suey.
No, I mean, you know, I don't think anybody's suing anything with their football team at Arkansas.
Did you always feel like she would come here?
You don't know. I mean, you know, you don't know. You know, sometimes when kids come on campus, she came up here unofficially, and you know, you got a pretty good feeling. Sometimes you get like, oh boy, this is going to be a stretch. But yeah, you know, you can't say anymore. You can't say, yeah, I think we're going to get this kid. I think you say, well, I think we're in pretty good shape. You never know anymore. It's not like the old days where, you know, a kid would come in and, you know, you would talk and you could see it in their eyes, like, all right, this kid's coming here. It's not that easy anymore. And people that think that I just pick up the phone and call a kid and go, listen, signing date's November 10th. I'll talk to you then. They think that's how easy recruiting is at Connecticut. If it was, we'd have 5 commitments right now, right? Instead of 1. So it's a lot harder than people think.
What about that? I mean, when's the last time you started on signing week with no one committed?
I don't know.
Kind of bizarre. Bizarre feel to it.
Yeah, it's a weird recruiting year. So, you know, we're waiting on one more right now, and then there could be more down the road. You know, who knows? You know, the springtime, what that might bring. But these next couple of years are going to be really important for us recruiting. I mean, you think about just in the last 2 years who we've lost, and then who we're going to lose this year and next year. I mean, there goes our whole team that won 4 national championships. There won't be anybody left. Then we have to start all over.
Do you still...
Or somebody will have to start.
The coach there's got a tough job.
It'll be the first time in 30 years we're in a rebuilding situation, and I'm 82.
Geno, when you get one of these top players, do you still, like, in private moment go, yes? Or are you past that now?
You know, it's funny that you say that because I happen to be in the car when the phone rang and she called me, and I picked up the phone, and I thought it was kind of early in the morning for her to be calling. So I said, "Why are you calling me this early?" Just, you know, I have to talk to you, you know. And I said, "Well, okay, what are we talking about?" "I don't know, you know, I don't know how to say this. I got some bad news, you know, blah, 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 blah." Yeah. I said, "Okay, what's your bad news?" You know, I guess, you know, I don't know how to say this, Coach. And you're going to just, I mean, it's easy to say, you know, just say, "Look, I don't want to come there. I want to come there." Just, she goes, "I guess you guys are stuck with me for the next 4 years, you know." And and there was like a feeling in me that went, pretty cool. You know, like when you've been doing this for so long, you hope you never get to the point where you go, "Yeah, okay, that was great. Call my people and they'll call your people, and let's put this thing together, all right? I'll talk to you later." You know, you hope you never get that nonchalant about it. And believe me, I wasn't. I was like, you know, like I was driving along, actually like, whew, that's pretty good because we really need this, you know? So yeah, I still get that. And I still remember to this day when Rebecca Lobo and Pam Weber, we were recruiting them, and they were the only two kids we were recruiting. And if we didn't get them, we were screwed. And they said, "Well, who's plan B?" I said, "We don't have a plan B. We're recruiting these two guys. If we don't get them, we don't know who the hell we're going to recruit." And we were practicing. It was late at night, like 7:30 or whatever. And hey, somebody's on the phone. "Yeah, all right, who is it?" It's Pam Weber or somebody. "Ah, yeah." You know, like stuff like that. That was 1991, 90, 91, you know, whatever.
Was it a rotary phone?
Yes, it was. Black rotary phone.
Because you guys had rotary phones.
Black rotary phone. You hope we don't... Sorry, we lost the line. The track coach is on. "Get the hell off the line." So, yeah, we had that back then. And it's still the same now. You know, and every kid, you know, when it's their turn and it's their time, they all think, I've got, you know, like she had a husky dog at her thing today.
Yeah.
She had her team, she got her classmates to wear UConn stuff. Like, this kid is pretty sharp. She's got a lot on the ball, and everybody loves her because she's got that kind of personality. She's just a fun kid to be around. You know, unfortunately, it's the most important part of the job. Without getting good players, you're not going to be able to do anything.
Did you get involved with her earlier because all the USA basketball, she wanted players that...
No. I saw her for the first time during the summer. Shay said to me, "Hey, there's a kid here you need to come see." So I went down, I saw the kid, and that was the first time Shay had seen her. She was going into 10th grade, and that was the first time I'd seen her, and I just watched her play one game, and we both said, "Wow, you know, this kid's pretty good." And then we started following her progress, and then, you know, she just kept getting better and better and better, and here we are. So it wasn't like Stewie, where, "Hey, did you hear about this kid in 8th grade? Oh my God, she's really good." And you know, this kid, we were just doing our job, and Shay found her.
How long does it take to figure out if it's the right personality?
You don't know that until you get the kid on campus and you spend some time with them. And kids are starting to do that more often, you know. They take it upon themselves to take unofficial visits. Used to be back in the day, the first time the kid was on your campus would be September of their junior year, and they're doing their official visit. And you've been recruiting this kid for 2 years. And that kid shows up And you're like, damn, you just wasted 2 years recruiting this kid, right? You're trying to figure out all the places not to take them, so they don't see it. Back then, you're trying to say, Coach, why am I flying into Westchester Airport? Well, they don't know. I'm going to drive them through Yale and tell them it's UConn. Yeah, show them our campus 30 years ago, right? Because now, kids come up in 10th grade, they look around, they watch TV, they go on YouTube. They have pretty much, all you're doing is trying to get a face-to-face and meet their parents or meet them. And then, you kind of get a pretty good feel for them and their parents or whoever's making the effort to bring them here and making that decision.
Geno, how do you discern? I mean, you want an athlete to be confident, want to make that big play, yet you're saying, like, I want you to be part of this Geno Auriemma umbrella of teamwork.
Yeah.
Early on, can you read that, or how does one go about parsing that?
I don't think we can bring a kid in here who's not confident and cocky and think we're going to make them into that. I would rather recruit a kid who's a great kid, who's got a little bit of like, well, I know you guys are great, but so am I. And I'm coming there to show everybody in Connecticut how good I am. And then we're pretty good at taking that and saying, okay, here's how you become really great. Like right now you're big, here's how you become really big. Because now we're going to add this, this, and this to you, and now you're going to become really big. As opposed to taking a kid who isn't sure and then trying to build them up. That almost never works. That almost never works. And a kid really struggles here that's like that. So, yeah, I love those, guys like D and, Maya, Shea, Sveta, get Renee, those guys that come in like, yo, we had a lot of All-Americans here. We don't give a shit about them. Where do you watch me play? Where do you see what I can do? You really want those guys because they're the guys that they want the challenge. They want to be coached. They want to be pushed.
Right.
Look at how concerned Kristen was that you recruited 4 guards ahead of her.
Well, she watched them play.
Exactly.
What can you say about the Thule? I saw her doing a little bit more on the
She hasn't been on the court yet. Maybe the next day or so.
Okay.
And then we'll see.
Will she travel with you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she'll travel with us, but she's not going to play.
Not going to play.
Yeah. And I don't even know about next Friday with Cal. We'll have to see whether or not she can put in a couple days of practice next week. We just don't know yet.
Is she where they thought she'd be? Or
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was one of those funny things, There was a sprain and there was a bone bruise and nothing torn, nothing major, but still, it's time consuming.
Up on the feature with the arm wrap.
I don't know.
She's cold.
I have no idea. Believe me, no idea. I know Fisa's foot was bothering her. Something happened in Italy and it's kind of been nagging, but other than that, I don't know anything about that stuff. I don't even pay attention.
You talk about
Somebody said, Andy wears this thing on her leg. I said, yeah, I don't know. I just thought that was part of her leg because I've never seen her without it. So I don't know what the hell these guys wear. I don't even know what it is. I don't know. I can't even tell you.
Are you confident that the women's recruiting is at a much cleaner state
Oh,
than the women?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's stuff that goes on, but it's
I'm not talking about the piddly stuff.
jaywalking.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's jaywalking compared to, what actually, you read is going on the men's side. And again, 10%, 5% on the men's programs? So 95% of them aren't doing that stuff. On the women's side, yeah, there's people doing dumb stuff, but it's nothing. I don't even think it's enough to sway a great player. Because, if it starts being like that, then it'll be, I don't know how we would handle it, but if it is, it's going to be between coach and player. There's certainly not going to be any third parties involved. Because where do you get your money back? Who's going to invest money in a kid?
Maybe some Russian oligarch that wants to play, in Rostov.
Yeah. So right now, I can say from everything that I know, I haven't come across anything where somebody goes, yo, you should see how much this kid's getting to go to that school. You know.
Is that a relief to you? It's got to be, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I would think that no matter what, we would be okay because, you know, what did Cal Perry say? I did a podcast with him that we're going to. He goes, you know, the Kentuckys of the world, we're still always going to eat first. Doesn't matter what the rules are. And, you know, there are certain programs that, regardless of what the rules are, they're always going to be in a position to get the best players. Now, it doesn't mean you're always going to get them, but, you know, you would think those schools don't have to do anything. So we're fortunate in that respect. I haven't heard anything. I haven't seen anything. I haven't heard anything.
What could you say about Kayla? And I just watch her now, and she's posting up, and she just, every time I see her, it seems like
Lou?
you guys are working with something else.
Yeah, Lou's getting better. She's done a really, really good job of, you know, expanding into some other areas. You know, she wants to, you know, she wants to get better offensively. She wants to get better defensively. She's the first to recognize, you know, areas that she wants to improve in, and she's willing to work at it. And I would think that, you know, when she was a freshman and the players we had then, they weren't paying attention to her much. Last year, you know, they knew she would be good, but I don't think they knew she would be that good. And I don't think her and Fisa are going to get away with anything this year. I think the two of them are going to have to really work really, really hard to accomplish the same things that they accomplished last year. So then they know they have to get better because they know that the competition is going to be better equipped, better prepared for them, let's put it this way, than they may have been last season.
Is she better at handling the bumping that they're supposed to be outlawing?
Yeah, supposed to be outlawing. Yeah, I'm not sure that's going to happen. We'll see this weekend. It'll be interesting to see how the games are being played this year. I do think that that's the really next step for all of women's basketball at every level, high school, college, pros, the elimination of the physical beating that the players take, either on the ball or off the ball. That if they could eliminate that, then the game would just explode upwards. I mean, imagine what would volleyball be like? You know, that's become pretty popular. Women's soccer at the national level. What would that be like if every time a kid tries to run up the field, one of the other guys on the other team is allowed to forearm them and body check them? That wouldn't last very long, would it? It would look like a scrum. You know, same with volleyball. Kid goes up to block it. I mean, all of a sudden, it's like, what are we doing here? So in basketball, you know, you get a kid, wants to cut, and all of a sudden, you know, somebody's got him, and you go, well, that's not basketball anymore. I don't know what that is. So the more we can eliminate that on the women's side, the game will take off. And I know the other coach will go, yeah, well, you want that. You got the best players. No, well, I also got players that are big enough to knock your players on their ass. I'm just saying that doesn't make the game, a pleasing watch. And I think if they are going to go enforce those rules, I think it'd be really cool. That'd be really great for the game. Games will be like this. And it will be a game of skill. And as, you know, and you can still do other things to negate people's skill, but I think that's the next step for women's basketball.
With the 4 kids that you have coming back, and then with Crystal taking a step up, are you kind of excited to see these guys and how well they can play given all the experience they're bringing back?
Yeah, I'm anxious because I don't know what we're going to get. I'm excited and I'm a little bit apprehensive to see what we're going to get. 2 years ago when we went out to Ohio State, I was like, man, I wonder how these guys are going to do. And it was unbelievable. Totally blew my mind. I couldn't believe what I was watching. And then last year, like, oh, look at this guy. We can handle this. I mean, Florida State, we can handle this. We need a block shot to win the game at the end of the game. So that first game, I mean, they're playing tonight, so I think that gives them a chance to get their legs under them, and then we play Sunday. So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, what do we got? Stanford, Cal, Maryland, UCLA.
Pac-12 champs.
Flying across the country.
Crazy, right?
Pac-12 champs, yeah.
Crazy. First 4 games.
Could you say a few quick words about?
Can we play Northeastern and Wagner and those fucking guys?
They're dangerous.
No, all right, Colgate or Cornell.
Could you say a few quick words about Len retiring?
Jesus Christmas. I'm going to miss Lenny at the meetings. There's nobody that's ever been at a coach's meeting that doesn't have a story of Lenny asking some questions about some NCAA rules and regulations that he just finds, and in his inimitable way of saying it, you know, with the Greek culture, the mindset, the accent, the whole thing. It's a treat to listen to Lenny talk about, and about the game of soccer, and about coaching in general. I mean, you're talking about maybe one of the top women's soccer coaches in this country's history at any level. So I'm going to miss him. He was an incredible coach, and he did a lot for a lot of kids, and he was a really fun guy to have around. I'm really going to miss his company.
Thank you.
Fuck it.